Our show this year is called The Cutouts.
The Cutouts.
The Cutouts.
And it's about the later works of Henri Matisse. This is kind of about him rediscovering his artistic voice after a pretty serious, debilitating illness.
He lost some of his motor skills, and he was getting elderly, so he started creating art with cutouts, with paper cutouts, and using kind of collage style, and that was that period in his career, and that's some of the art that we all see when you see Matisse stuff. And that's the period that Scott wanted to examine what Matisse was doing. So we're trying to use that for influence. Some of the fact that some of our props look like what you might look like if we cut your body out of paper, what that would look like. And basically just trying to brainstorm within the realm of what Matisse might have been thinking, how he was going to make art without having all of his motor skills that he used to have.
There's elements of the choreography that are in a way where there's individuals that are kind of in this two-dimensional plane, and they're moving in this two-dimensional plane, almost as if they're a literal cutout. So I think it's really cool seeing little thematic elements start to get really thrown into the show. And so it's not just drill pictures, it's not just props, it's also what we're doing with our bodies.
The show's broken up into 3 stages this year, and stage 1 kind of goes through a gamut of different identities. The first third of stage 1 is the ascension, and it kind of represents the part in Matisse's life where he was coming out of his illness. He was recovering from his surgery and starting to discover himself again. And then that transitions into cuts and shapes, which is the middle part of stage 1, and that's where we have tons of variety, tons of interesting color and timbre, and like some really cool things that feature our drum set player, so that's going to be really fun.
Our drum set player, Mikey, phenomenal. So he's got his moments in this show, and it is spectacular. Anybody who plays drum set or knows any knowledge of drum set, he's going to play stuff you've probably never heard before, and it's so clean. It's just ridiculous.
And then the lighter part of stage 1, that part of the show represents Icarus, which is one of Matisse's more famous pieces of work. There's a lot of different things to take away from it, from like the wartime ambiance and soundscapes and things we do that really should take you to a place and kind of help you feel that a little more viscerally, to kind of a reimagining of a speech by Charles de Gaulle, where we did some interesting glitchy tape edit effects and kind of leaned into a little bit of the identity of the show, which is manipulation of ideas in unconventional ways. Stage 2 is basically the ballad section of the show, and the music choice is Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now. This part of the show kind of represents the chapel, which is, one of Matisse's later works was that he designed and created every element of a chapel in Vence. It's a really beautiful and striking summation of Matisse's work in that period. And I think in interviews, Matisse talked about how that's one of his most triumphant works and the things he's proudest of. Stage 3 is entitled Chromatic Composition. The title alludes to one of Matisse's final works, which is The Snail, or as he called it, I think a secondary title was Chromatic Composition. That title is kind of evocative, and it's like a really haunting piece of artwork where, you could see the way the colors interweave. It's a very joyful, bright color palette, but it's very multifaceted and has a lot of dimensions to it. So this part of the show is kind of bringing things back full circle, and what's happening visually is that we are kind of bringing the props back towards the center of the field and kind of creating the stage for that piece of art and kind of our homage to that. And musically, we kind of go through a lot of variety and a lot of complexity and even a little bit of some dissonant chromaticism to kind of allude to that title element and kind of the inspiration for that section of the show.
From a musical perspective, the journey is really interesting. We're going through a lot of styles, a lot of different changes this season. You're going to hear everything from Stan Kenton, straight ahead jazz, Bob Grettinger, City of Glass, modern anime music, to symphonic film score, James Horner's Grand Canyon Fanfare. So it's a really diverse palette of colors and styles, which presents a challenge and a lot of cool opportunities for us in the brass program.
What I love about the show so far, as far as the percussion aspect, we're going outside the box. This year, what Dave Glide has done, with the help of all of us and his team, is we are playing stuff that I've never seen before, and I've been around a while. So it's really fresh to see some new vocabulary, new height structures with how we're playing certain patterns. And it sounds extremely different. With mature players, we're able to do that.
I think what they're going to see is a production that turns very quickly from style to style. I think they're going to see a production that has a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion in it, a lot of passion, a lot of variety and textures. I think you're going to see, with the horn line, we're going to have moments of beauty in the show, moments that we really want to draw the audience in. But we're also going to work to create some really exciting, just visceral moments that the crowd can really grab onto. But also, the technical, the precision of the technique and the various styles, really working to present the most professional, artistic approach to music making as possible.
So this is year 44 for me with the Blue Devils. And the season so far has been, it's been great. The kids get along so well, the staff gets along. It's an older staff, we've been around a while, most of us have been around a while, and it's still that camaraderie, it's still that desire, it's still that reward of seeing them perform on the field. And they are jamming, and I can't wait to see the final product of this.